This video, I will show you how to thread a vintage machine with a crossed wound thread. The one that I'm showing you here is a red 50 weight cotton thread by Aurifil. A lot of quilters enjoy using this because it doesn't create a lot of lint in the bobbin case area. But with these machines, they were created with just a vertical spool pin. And your cross wound threads are definitely going to feed easiest off of the spool if they're being pulled from the end. If they were trying to be pulled from the side, we get into a deal where it doesn't feed right. I was able to find a very nice adapter on the Featherweight shop. If you just look up the Featherweight shop or Singer Featherweight shop, it's going to take you to a listing on the internet, and you'll be able to find this sort of a thread adapter. You will place it onto your vertical pin, and now you'll see you've got a horizontal spool pin to hook onto. I'll go ahead and mount my thread with the chubbier bottom end of it going in. They also provide you with an end cap so that it doesn't pull off the end. So I'll place that on and snug it up tight. So now you'll see as I go to thread, it's going to sit there on that horizontal pin quite nicely. I'm going to make just a detour here to the front of the machine. When I showed you to thread the machine before, we used the back guide, and we'll do that again for just regular threading with this. It'll be basically the same guides that we're hitting all through here, but if we're winding a bobbin with a cross wound, we'll use this first front guide. Kind of go in there a little bit more for you. This is thread guide right there. And so if you did that, you now have a way to come from that, bypass the vertical pin, come underneath your tensioner, and come right on up here like I showed you when we wound your bobbin. So that would be your adaptation if you're using cross wound thread to wind a bobbin. I'm going to undo that, and I'm just going to show you taking this thread through a normal thread path though. I'm turning this machine so we can again see that nose or the end of it. Apologies for the camera shake. So I'm bringing that thread just as we did a while ago to that rear guide. We'll go into the tension disc. Ooh, sorry about that. Underneath and back over the top. Come down by that number 9. It's going to slip in, so now it's between the disc, underneath, over, and by making that maneuver, it's put the thread into that loop. Be sure that you bring it into that upper take-up loop. Again, if we miss this, it's going to sound horrible, and you're not going to get a stitch. So don't forget this loop right up here, right here. Bring the thread into that lower little loop on the machine. Continue on down. And again, thread from left to right. Okay. And ta-da! I got it threaded. Raise that presser foot, catch the threads between the toes of your presser foot. And let's just do a double check now that we've got it threaded with a cross wound thread. Hold those thread tails as we begin stitching. My table I've got this sitting on is sort of lightweight, so I've got a good bit of bounce going on. This machine's quite powerful. I'm going to raise that take-up lever to that top position. Now I can raise the presser foot and remove the work from the machine. Nice stitch, nice stitch. So hopefully this will give you some input on how to thread the machine, regardless of whether you have a stacked thread or you have a cross wound thread. If you have any questions, drop me a comment in the bottom of at the bottom here of the videos, and I'll try to answer your questions for you. Hope you have a good time sewing.